Hello and welcome to Trailblazing Retirement. I'm Katrina.
And I'm John.
And we are not waiting until 65 to retire. We plan to retire by the age of 55. We're not waiting, we're retiring early. And we have 5 reasons to share with you today of why we made that decision to retire early. And we want to share them with you so that we hopefully can inspire you to think about possibly retiring early too. So reason number 1?
So reason 1 is health is the real wealth. So me and Katrina, we really love the outdoors. We love hiking. We love traveling to new places. We just love it fully, enjoying the places that we're traveling to. And that really is just enjoying the outdoors. So, we realize that, we're not getting any younger at this point. We're in our early 50s. And we've already noticed, we have little aches and pains, I think, like everyone getting, in our early 50s now. And so we want to go ahead and try to retire early so we can be able to, travel to all these places and be able to hike and enjoy the outdoors like we want to without having to worry about, our health as much and, our stamina, recovery time, different things like that. That's just natural decline as you get older. So fully being able to enjoy ourselves and do these hikes and enjoy the outdoors is something we really want to do. And retiring in our mid 50s will allow us to do those things.
Absolutely. And travel, actually, research shows that it increases the happiness of most retirees and the satisfaction with their life. And really, it actually helps their life expectancy too. So travel is really an important part of our retirement decision. And we're excited to do that. Like John was saying, we already love traveling and we are testing that out as we go right now. But we are really looking forward to using the time that we have, these healthy years that we still have left. We're very fortunate in that. And we want to use those years to be able to explore and travel more. Reason number 2 that we were retiring early is time is more valuable than money. And we firmly believe that. So if you retire at age 55 rather than 65, you gain 10 years of freedom. 10 years of freedom.
That's crazy.
You can't buy that. Money can't buy time. And those 10 years are potentially the healthiest years that we have left. And so we really want to make sure that we are doing the things that we love, being outdoors and active, and our potentially most healthiest years that we have left. And when you calculate that 10 years of freedom, that's 52 weeks in a year. So 10 times 52 is 520 weeks. So 520 weeks of vacation. If you think about that, I know retirement's not vacation, but we're going to be doing the things that we typically have to cram into our vacation time. So we're looking forward to that time period, and it's so valuable to us. Yes, we could work longer and make more money, right?
Right. So, that's the thing. That's the whole thing behind this. This is one of the most important points we want to get across to you guys is, you can always make more money. You can't buy back that time. Those 52 weeks that Katrina's talking about, just think about that. That is 520 weeks that we need to be getting out there, enjoying life, enjoying the things you want to do without, if you can make this happen, you make it happen. And so we want to get out there as soon as possible and be able to enjoy the things that we want to do. So,
and it is possible. I know it might seem out of reach, but we really want to encourage you to dive in and learn along with us, because we thought it was out of reach too. Like, 2 or 3 years ago, there was like, no way can we retire in our 50s. But the more that we learned and the more that we thought about it, we're like, yeah, actually, this is possible. And so we want to encourage you to explore that. And I know everybody's situation is different, but just know that the potential is there, and we want to encourage you to explore that.
Reason 3 is we want to have more time for relationships and meaningful pursuits. So this means having more quality time to spend with our loved ones. Before you retire, things like that. We've been fortunate to be able to go on vacations, being able to spend time with loved ones and family and things like that. But it's always felt rushed. You know what I mean? Whenever we go on vacations, you have this itinerary and you're just trying to cram everything into this small little schedule. We may be able to vacation for a week or 2 at a time, but never feels like it's enough. You know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of people out there feel that same way. And so, we don't want that. We want to have that extra time to really enjoy our vacations and different places and things like that. So, we just really want to get out there and enjoy it. We don't want to feel rushed. Me and Katrina, we've had 35 years together, and some of our best moments we're definitely not at work, but with enjoying time with one another and things like that. And so we really want to get out there and enjoy life as much as we can. So
yeah, and spending that quality time with each other, and then also our family. Like, we have 3 daughters that we really enjoy spending time with, but it always seems a little rushed. And 2 of our 3 daughters are living in different states now, so this also is going to give us more time to spend with them and their families. So we're excited about that. And we want also to have time for meaningful pursuits. So learning new things. I am an educator at heart, and I love to learn things. So we like to learn those new skills, and we want to explore new places and learn about new cultures and look at historical sites. John loves history, and so visiting castles and historic places, in addition to our love of nature. We love the natural landscapes and hiking and things like that, but we also love that history and culture. So we want to have time to dive deeper into that whenever we go on these little adventures. So reason number 4 is that we really want to avoid trading years for money. So that financial over planning. So I think in our culture in the US, we're from the US, the financial industry tells us that we always need just a little bit more. If you work a few more years, you can really be financially secure. I literally just Googled, top 10 pieces of advice to people who are thinking about retiring. And literally number 3 was like, consider working longer, So I want to tell you, consider working less years. And I'm not a financial advisor. And again, I think we talked about this earlier, that you can certainly work longer and be super financially secure. But one of the reasons that we're retiring early is because time is more valuable than money. And so I think that we tend to overplan. We're pushed to overplan to make sure, you have enough, and you can fall into that trap of, well, what if, right? Like, what if you live to 95?
Yeah, and that's, you want to get out of that mindset as much as possible. I know that was, kind of our mindset for a long time. And, you have those worries in the back of your mind. What if I run out of money? What if this? What if that? I think retiring in our mid-50s, what that'll do is, hey, we're not 100% that this is going to work out. We're going to give it our best shot for sure. And if something happens and we have to get back into the workplace, that's kind of our fail safe. But, I think, people have that mindset of they want to make all this money, they want to keep working, make all this money to feel like they're financially stable, things like that. But what if you make all this money and, you work until you're 60, 70 years old, and you don't have the health to get out there and actually enjoy what you've earned. So, how much is enough at that point, And so,
yeah, I think that's a key question here. How much is enough? And it's very easy to say that I will never have enough. And research shows us it's kind of human nature to say, once you reach a milestone, you're like, oh, that actually might not be enough. So when I'm not sure exactly the research, but I did hear about where they asked millionaires, someone who had $5 million, net worth, asked them if they felt like they had enough, if they felt financially secure, and they're like, no, I don't. So I feel like at every level that you're at, it can get into the trap of you never feel like you have enough, and we keep in our society, in our culture, keep moving that goalpost of like how much is enough, and comparing ourselves to others of like, they have a bigger house or a nicer car or things like that. We luckily, I think, have never really fallen into that trap. And what we value is not the consumerist type things, the cars and the money. I mean, we have a home, a lovely home, and we do value that, but it's what we value the most is our time with each other and living comfortably. So, you have to find the point of like how much of your life are you trading for money that you may possibly never spend, and how much do we really need to be able to live comfortably? And I think that we are in that position where we feel like we're planning so that we have enough to feel like we're living comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, Katrina said we're not materialistic by any means. I have an older truck. We've never bought brand new vehicles, things like that. We live pretty modest. I think we've never been one to keep up with the Joneses. I know that can be hard sometimes. People see their friends or family, and they've got all these different new toys, new vehicles, things like that. We try to stay out of that mindset as much as possible, because that can lead you down a road that you don't really want to go down, and that'll keep you in debt, so you're not able to enjoy these later years like you really want to. And so we never wanted to fall into that. So this is why we're trying to make this happen at this point. So.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of planning, and we've calculated our expenses, our expenses now compared to when we retire and what we want to do in our retirement, those travel experiences that we want to have. And we will be living on a budget for sure.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be luxurious living. It's going to be comfortable, and it's going to be within our means of what we have, but it's what we want to experience. So our rich life is experiences and traveling and being together. Some people, might have more luxurious standards, and they may not be able to retire early. But it's really about your choice. Everybody's different about what is more meaningful to you. But just try not to get stuck in that trap of being 100% confident. You can never guarantee tomorrow, and financial advisors are going to want to get your confidence level of being successful and never running out of money in your retirement up as high as possible, which is their job. But just know that we're not guaranteed every day, and there's other plans that you can actually fall back on. So we feel like we're going to have enough for our lifestyle. If we need to adjust, we can always do that. Like we have, we have a plan A, plan B, C, so there are options. And so early retirement isn't irreversible, but time is.
Absolutely. So that brings us to reason number 5. We're tired of waiting for someday. That I think people fall into that trap where they just keep saying, like we talked about before, making enough money, feeling that financial stability, and they're just waiting for that someday. And that someday could be when they're 65, when they're 70, when they're 75, when they're 80, and finally there's someday never comes. And so what we've learned is life is unpredictable. Health, family situations, world events, anything like that, COVID a few years ago. You just never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So you might even have lost someone, who never got there someday. And so, we want to be able to get out there, like we've talked about before, and enjoy life while we still can. We don't want to wait for that someday. Someday's not guaranteed. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So, we're not meant to, sit behind a desk for 8 hours a day and work, or, work out on the highways, or work out, construction. That's not what we're meant to do our whole lives. So if you can, financially get out and make that happen, early enough, I would definitely encourage you to do that. So.
Yeah. And so that's the decision we've made. We put a lot of thoughts and planning into this, and our decision to retire early. And we have a little less than 3 years until that point, and we want you to join us on this journey with us. But we're not waiting till that day either to start testing out these retirement places. So we will be testing out different places that we want to travel to in our retirement and share that with you guys. The good, the bad, and the ugly of our budgeting with that, and let you guys know how that's going for us. But we'll both officially be retired by the age of 55, and we're so excited about it. And we want to start sharing now our journey to hopefully encourage you to maybe join us on it, on that exploration of early retirement. So if you've been thinking about early retirement, this is your invitation to join us on this quest for more knowledge about it. So we encourage you to follow us, and then follow other people who are already into the retirement or thinking about it as well, try to learn as much as you can because everybody's situation is different. But it's nice to hear other people's perspectives because you might get inspiration from them. So if you're tired of waiting for that someday, if you want to hike mountains while you still can, we really want to encourage you to do that and subscribe and follow our journey. And then
absolutely, please follow along with us, follow along with our journey. We would love to hear from you. If you have any comments, you have any suggestions for us.
Yes, please be sure to comment below. What's your biggest reason why you're considering early retirement? What stands out to you? Is it one of our top 5 reasons or maybe something different? And then also let us know what's one thing that's holding you back, one fear that you have, because we have fears too, and we're trying to overcome them as well. And let's explore them together. So I know one big fear is healthcare, and that's something that we know that some people, it's very important to all people. And so that's something we'll explore in another video segment, our exploration of that topic. But yeah, we want to communicate with you guys. If you have ideas of places that you think we should travel to, we'd love to hear your thoughts. So the question really isn't, can we afford to retire early? But the
question is, can we afford not to?
Right.
So.
Yeah. Sorry.
Take it away, Katrina. I think we know how to do this whole thing.
No, we're not.
You're like, dude, 5 minutes you've been like.
Well, yeah.
Well,
that's supposed to be but I'm going to interject and talk back and forth a little bit.
I'm sorry. I thought you were on the
you were getting on a roll, and I was trying to.
Oh, he's going. I got to stop him.